I wait a few minutes. Shannon, are you having a better week? Are you in the voice, Shannon? No. No, you're not. You're not. Oh, now you are.
Oh, I am now.
Well, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Just put Ezra to bed.
It always trips me out, but it's later there.
Yes. So he is in bed by around 6:45, 7 o'clock, and then he wakes up at 5:30.
He's got a grown schedule.
Yes.
It's a working man's schedule right there.
I know. I feel so bad. I can't wait to be in the military too. So that way he can have a schedule to where, okay, I get to wake up at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning now.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be a good change,
Right.
For sure. Has anything moved on that?
No, not
No.
that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I just got a notification stating that the doctors finally all came to an agreement and they were going to add my nephrectomy as a condition onto my med board. So now the
Cool.
military is going to look at it and then come to the conclusion it's going to increase my chances of being a disabled veteran.
There you go.
So anything above 30% or more, you are technically a disabled veteran, and you get TRICARE for life, basically.
That's the dream.
That is the dream. Jeremiah is thinking that I'm going to get 100%. He's thinking he's going to get 70.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fabulous, man.
It would be. Then I can take trips, to Illinois to see the family, and I can do all this other cool stuff and then not have to worry about paying for healthcare.
Yeah, that'll be great. That'd be a
As much.
big, beautiful thing right there.
It would be.
Yeah, well, when do you find out? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea, no.
Okay.
It's going to be a few months, so we're still stuck in Virginia, probably until the end of the year.
It could be worse. Could be worse.
It could be. I mean, I don't know. I'd rather be in Illinois than Virginia.
It's so hard to hear anybody say I would rather be in Illinois, but it might be one place that it's possibly better than. Yeah.
Than Virginia, yeah. Because at least if I'm gonna deal with, perfect politics and all that other stuff, at least I'd be around my family. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, it'd be good in a lot of ways, The state just sucks. But the circumstances you have here are, good. Plus, then I can bug you all the time to help me try to make this happen.
Yeah, see, there you go. See?
Yeah. Be a positive thing. Jalen, Ghostgate, what's going on? Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good thing. All right, we'll wait one more minute and then we'll just go. Be a light night.
Good. So yesterday I took Ezra to the water park and we're all just drained.
Yeah, that's exhausting.
It is. I never realized being the parent at a water park could be so stressful.
Yeah, very. For the drowning aspect or what?
Oh, no. So we have, not so much for the drowning aspect because we take good care of him and he was wearing his own life vest and stuff like that. But, it's hot, it's muggy, and trying to navigate where all the rides that we could all go on is just impossible. And trying to navigate the little kiddie pools was topic, and it was crowded. There was a lot of people there, so
yeah.
I'm like, wow. Being the parent, I'm like, God bless my parents for putting up with me and my siblings when we all went to the water parks.
It's hard, man. Children are hard. especially out in public like that. Yeah, you're just running around being crazy.
Yeah. I
God.
mute myself as I try to take care of the dogs.
Yeah, go ahead. We're about to go anyways. I just gave my dog a bath, pretty much the same thing. That's true. We have
That is
3,
so true.
and we
That's true.
do the baths in rounds, so it's just boom, 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 one after the other. The bathroom is disgusting afterward. I've not listened to any of the previous videos on this yet, so I may be totally lost, but happy to be here. Yeah, honestly, Ashley, you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna feel very, very lost, but I assure you, everybody feels very, very lost, even if they've been here every week. Because he's tough to read. He's tough to read. But he does repeat himself constantly. So anything you've missed previous to this, he'll probably say again. Maybe in a slightly different way, but he's going to say it again. But Enoch, for anybody who doesn't know, I think everybody else has been here for a bit, is just confusing. It's confusing. It reads like Revelation. It's just a lot of prophecy, a lot of wild kind of visions and dreams, and it's trippy. It's very trippy, but it'll be good. Just wash my hands, basically. This dude killed me. Ashley is lovely. She's been around for a very long time. Just not with us here. But she's been around, God, like 6 years. We're gonna go. So we left off at 46. We're on 47. Let me get this music out of my ears. In those days, the prayer of the righteous shall have ascended, and the blood of the righteous from the earth shall be before the Lord of spirits. Remember that we're seeing this term Lord of Spirits constantly. It is it's an older, less used term to refer to God. We talked about it a little bit last week, that my view on this, my take on this, is that it fits with a much bigger theme that we've all been talking about on Thursday and on Sunday pretty much every week, that this focus of spirituality as a concept has, over the years throughout Christian history, been slowly bled out of our literature, out of our verbiage, out of the way we preach just in general. Spirituality as a concept. It's been watered down. It's been slowly pulled out, bled out of all the literature, all the speak. And when you go into some of these other texts that didn't remain in the Christian historical timeline because they were deemed as no good or basically not verified, right? They weren't a part of the canon. They were not verified by the people who get to decide that. You'll find much more spirituality in all of them. Just like if you go back into the old manuscripts, there are more references to spirit and spirituality and things like that, demons, angels, than there are now. We lose that concept. It's slowly being bled out. So it's just one example of an outside text that we deemed as unimportant, that it has a massive focus on spirituality. Anyways, in those days, the holy ones who dwell above in heaven shall unite with the one voice and supplicate and pray and praise and give thanks and bless the name of the Lord of spirits on behalf of the blood of the righteous which has been shed, that the prayer of the righteous may not be in vain before the Lord of spirits, that they may have justice and that they may not have to wait forever. In those days I saw the head of days when he seated himself on the throne of his glory. And the books of the living were opened before him, and all his host which is in heaven above and his counselors stood before him. And the hearts of the holy were filled with joy because the number of the righteous had been offered, and the prayer of the righteous had been heard, and the blood of the righteous had been required before the Lord of spirits. And then give me a second, guys. I want to pull up the ESV for us again, so we can get away from some of this old English. You got Revelation 20:11 through 15. NIV. Then I saw a great white throne and him who was seated on it. The earth of the heavens fled from his presence, and there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and the books were open. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done as recorded in the books. The sea gave up the dead that were in it, and the death and Hades gave up the dead that were in them. And each person was judged according to what they had done. 14, then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire in the second death. Anyone whose name was not found written in the book of life was thrown into the lake of fire. 48, and in that place I saw the spring of righteousness, which was inexhaustible, and around it were many springs of wisdom, and all the thirsty drank of them, and were filled with wisdom, and their dwellings were with the righteous and holy and elect. You're getting that term a lot in Enoch, elect. It's very Romans by Paul-esque with the elect. And at that hour, the Son of Man was named in the presence of the Lord of spirits, and his name was brought before the head of days. Even before the sun and the signs were created, before the stars of heaven were made, his name was named before the Lord of spirits. He shall be a staff to the righteous, and they shall steady themselves and not fail. And he shall be the light of the Gentiles and the hope of those who are troubled of heart. And then ironic, we just mentioned Romans. You got Romans 11 through 21. Again, I ask, did they stumble so as to fall beyond recovery? Not at all. Rather, because of their transgressions, salvation has come to the Gentiles to make Israel envious. But if their transgressions mean riches for the world, and their loss means riches for the Gentiles, how much greater riches will their full inclusion bring? I am talking to you, Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle to the Gentiles. I take pride in my ministry, in the hope that I may somehow arouse my own people to envy and save some of them. For if their rejection brought reconciliation to the world, what will their acceptance be but life from the dead? If the part of the dough offered as first fruits is holy, then the whole batch is holy. If the root is holy, so are the branches. If some of the branches have been broken off, and you, though a wild olive shoot, have been grafted in among the others, and now share in the nourishing sap from the olive root, do not consider yourself to be superior to those other branches. If you do, consider this. You do not support the root, but the root supports you. You will say then, branches were broken off so that I could be grafted in. Granted. But they were broken off because of unbelief, and you stand by faith. Do not be arrogant, but tremble. For if God did not spare the natural branches, he will not spare you. Paul being the savage that he is. And all who dwell on earth shall fall down and worship before him, and will praise and bless and sing and celebrate the Lord of spirits. And for this reason, he has been chosen and hidden in front of, or kept safe by, him, before the creation of the world and forevermore. And the wisdom of the Lord of spirits has revealed him to the holy and righteous, for he hath preserved the lot of the righteous, because they have hated and rejected this world of unrighteousness, and have hated all its works and ways in the name of the Lord of spirits. For in his name they are saved, and according to his good pleasure, and it is he who has regard to their life. In these days the kings of the earth and the strong who possess the land because of the works of their hands will be shamed, because on the day of their anguish and affliction they shall not be able to save themselves. And I will give them over into the hands of my elect. As straw in the fire, so shall they burn before the face of the holy. As lead in the water shall they sink before the face of the righteous, and no trace of them shall be found anymore. Now you got Malachi 4:1. Surely the day is coming, it will burn like a furnace, and the arrogant and every evildoer will stumble. And the day that is coming will set them on fire, says the Lord Almighty. Not a root or a branch will be left to them. And on the day of their affliction, there shall be rest on the earth, because the evil ones will be destroyed. And before him they shall fall down and not rise again. And there shall be no one to take them with his hands and raise them up. For they have denied the Lord of spirits and his anointed. The name of the Lord of spirits be blessed. Let me pop in here real quick. Turn the music down. Shoot, I'm sorry. There you go. There you go. I hope you guys could hear me. I assume you can because that was the only comment there. You have so many thoughts, Ghost. You know that your thoughts need to go out there. You're already aware of this, man. So throw some of those thoughts out. Do you want to just throw my dog in the pool? Good God. All right, chapter 49. For wisdom is poured out like water, and glory will not fail before him ever. For he is mighty in all the secrets of righteousness, and unrighteousness shall disappear like a shadow, and will no longer exist, because the elect one stands before the Lord of spirits, and his glory is forever and ever, and his might for all generations. In him dwells the spirit of wisdom, and the spirit which gives insight, and the spirit of understanding and of might, and the spirit of those who have fallen asleep in righteousness. And he shall judge the secret things, and no one shall be able to utter a lying or idle word before him. For he is the elect one before the Lord of spirits, according to his good pleasure. And in those days a change shall take place for the holy and elect, and the light of days shall abide on them. The glory and honor shall turn to the holy. On the day of trouble, affliction will be heaped on the evil, and the righteous shall be victorious in the name of the Lord of spirits. For he will tell this to others, that they may repent and turn away from the works of their hands. Interesting. This whole thing is interesting, and I'm sure we'll talk about it here in a bit. They shall have no honor through the name of the Lord of spirits, but through his name they shall be saved. And the Lord of spirits will have compassion on them, for his mercy is great. He is righteous also in his judgment, and the presence of his glory unrighteousness also shall not stand. At his judgment the unrepentant shall perish before him. And from now on I will have no mercy on them, says the Lord of spirit. This section's brutal. And in those days shall the earth also give back that which had been entrusted to it. And Sheol, the grave, remember, anybody who wasn't here maybe or just doesn't remember, we talked about Sheol a little bit when we talked about hell on Thursday, all the different religious concepts of hell and where they came from and things like that. And then we talked about it again recently. I don't remember when, but we spoke about Sheol. What is Sheol? I guess kind of the middle ground view is that it's essentially purgatory, just not called purgatory. It's the idea that once you die, you go to basically a waiting room. And then in the waiting room, from there, you either go, illustratively up or down, right? You either go to heaven or hell. And that's kind of the sitting ground. Also, this is where Jesus went before coming back. It was not hell. You always remember that. It was not hell. He went to Sheol and then he came back. If he went to hell, that's a really odd thing and hard thing to theologically make sense with the rest of Scripture. Him going to Sheol makes sense because it's more of the waiting room, so there would be righteous there, right? That's the idea. There would be righteous there. I think that the elect are going to be the angels of the next cycle. They seem to be a 7,000-year cycle that repeats. 7 of completeness. Just like planting crops repeats, so will be the angels for the next cycle. Very interesting. Angelic training camp. Very interesting. That's an interesting way to look at it. I like that. Resting place for all? Sheol? Would you call it a resting place, though? It's more of a waiting place, right? Final resting place, I would hope would be somewhere not that from the Jewish descriptions of it. It doesn't seem that great. You'll know if you're going to hell before they tell you because they play country music in that waiting room. That's what I've heard, at least. I don't know. That has to be true. Yeah, it has to be just Nickelback on repeat. Just Nickelback on repeat. Ghost, that's a very interesting thought. I got to get you on here sometime, man, so you can expand on some of these ideas. Y'all are haters. Oh gosh, Shannon likes Nickelback. Come on. On that note, we're gonna start reading again as soon as I remember where I left off. Delio Friday 51. Was I smart enough to do that? Yeah, I was. Beautiful. Good God, Shannon. In those days shall the earth also give. No, we already read that. And he shall choose. Did we read that? Yeah, I read that. We stopped at Sheol. There we go. Also shall give back that which is received, and hell shall give back that which is owes. We're going to read this again. And in those days shall the earth also give back that which has been entrusted to it, and Sheol, the grave, also shall give back that which has received. And hell shall give back that which it owes, for in those days the elect ones shall rise. And he shall choose the righteous and holy from among them, for the day has drawn near that they should be saved. Revelation 20:12 through 15. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were open. Another book was open, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done, as recorded in the book. The sea gave up the dead. We already read this. We're not going to read it again. You got it last time. In those days, the elect one shall sit on his throne, and all the secrets of wisdom and counsel shall pour from his mouth. From the Lord of spirits hath given them to him, and has glorified him. In those days shall the mountains leap like rams, and the hills shall skip like lambs, satisfied with milk. And the faces of all the angels in heaven shall be lighted up with joy. And the earth shall rejoice, and the righteous shall dwell on it, and the elect shall walk on it. And after those days, in that place where I had seen all the visions of that which is hidden, for I had been carried off in a whirlwind, and they had borne me towards the west. That which is hidden. I'd be interested to see if you counted it. How many times he says that? How many times he uses that terminology? There my eyes saw all the secret things of heaven that shall be, a mountain of iron, and a mountain of copper, and a mountain of silver, and a mountain of gold, and a mountain of soft metal, and a mountain of lead. And I asked the angel who went with me, saying, what things are these which I have seen in secret? And he said to me, all these things which you have seen shall serve the authority of his Messiah, that he may be powerful and mighty on earth. The angel of peace answered me, saying, wait a little while, and all secret things shall be revealed to you, things which surround the Lord of spirits. And these mountains which your eyes have seen, the mountain of iron, and the mountain of copper, and the mountain of silver, and the mountain of gold, and the mountain of soft metal, and the mountain of lead, all of these shall be like wax before a fire in the presence of the elect one. Like the water which streams down from above on those mountains, and they shall be weak under his feet. And it shall come to pass in those days that none shall be saved, either by gold or by silver, and none will be able to save themselves or escape. And there shall be no iron for war, no materials for breastplates. Bronze shall be of no use, tin shall be worthless, and lead not be desired. All these things shall be destroyed from the face of the earth, when the elect one appears before the Lord of spirits. There in my eyes I saw a deep valley, with its mouth open, and all who dwell on the earth and sea and islands shall bring gifts and presents and tokens of homage to him. But that deep valley shall not become full. And their hands commit lawless deeds, and everything the righteous work at the sinners devour. The sinner shall be destroyed in front of the face of the Lord of spirits, and they shall be banished from off the face of his earth, and they shall perish forever and ever. For I saw all the angels of punishment abiding there and preparing all the instruments of Satan. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, for whom are they preparing these instruments? And he said to me, they prepare these for the kings and the powerful of this earth, that they may with them be destroyed. Lots of thoughts there, man. After this, the righteous and elect one shall cause the house of his congregation to appear, and from then on they shall hinder no more in the name of the Lord of spirits. And these mountains shall not stand as solid ground before his righteousness, but the hills shall be like springs of water, and the righteous shall have rest from the oppression of sinners. And I looked and turned to another part of the earth, and I saw there a deep valley with a burning fire. And they brought the kings and the powerful and began to cast them into the deep valley. Revelation 6:15 through 17. And then I'll read the chat real quick in case I miss something. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slaves and freed, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it? Wild. All right. Give me 1 second. From my understanding, Sheol is where we all sleep until the day of the Lord. Yes, another train of thought, for sure. So the Catholics have their purgatory, and they have a very specific belief. Within Christianity, you have several trains of thought. So that is one of them, the concept of sleeping. And then people will point to a lot of the way that Paul spoke in his apostles, and he uses this term, they went to sleep, they went to sleep. That would be within alignment of that, right? That they believe they go to Sheol until the day of the Lord. The other train of thought, though, is just that it's similar, more similar to the Catholic view, where it's just where you go first. And then there's some kind of final judgment aside from the day of the Lord. So different, where for each individual person. So they go to Sheol, waiting room. They get judged like a final time, final test, whatever you want to think. And then from there, they're either going down or up. So you got a couple, there's more than that too. There are more trains of thought, because Christianity doesn't have a very set belief or system on it, because denomination to denomination, there are different beliefs. And with so many, it's kind of hard to have consensus there. So I'm down, just gotta... Will you let me, Ghost, you let me know when you want to come on, whether it be a Thursday or a Sunday, and we'll make that happen for sure. It's weird that our eternal fate depends on our understanding of a book. Yeah. But then you have to think, so apologetically, if atheists were to put that at you, right? Like, so whether we spend eternity in hell or eternity in heaven, miserable or joyous, depends on somebody having the cognitive ability to understand a book, having to have the book be available to them to understand. And that breaks you off into the, like, people will teach you that even in super remote, we've talked about it too, even in super remote areas, like, what about them? They don't get the Bible. The general belief is like God will make whatever needs to be available to the individual available to the individual. So everybody has, like, take the US for example, pretty much everybody in the US, like easily 80% plus on the low end, knows the Bible exists. They know what people believe about the Bible. And in some way, the belief is that God will present it to them somehow. And then from there, they either make the decision to go with it or they reject it. And so they have their fair shake, so to say. It gets more complicated with the remote areas because, yeah, some of them have literally never heard of or seen a Bible. So then you get into the other kind of answers of, well, we have to believe that God is going to present it to them somehow, or that they have some kind of specific way of going about it. Because otherwise, yeah, it'd be problematic, right? But the book is just God's way of communicating. We're not dependent on the book itself, kind of like a guide. How else would we know if the account of the Lord was written down? Yeah. I mean, you got to think, if God is who we say he is, has the type of motives and goodness that we say he has, he's not going to damn somebody who literally had no opportunity whatsoever of being able to understand him and have the acceptance, right? That would be in disalignment with what we believe about his character. So that wouldn't make any sense. Unfortunately, that's not very comforting. We won't be burning for eternity. Hell only lasts for about 120 years at most. Those who aren't accepted will be annihilated. Factory reset. So, okay, so you have the... I want to explain that for anybody that might confuse. So I think predominantly in mainstream Christianity, if you talk about hell with somebody, because Ghost, I'm in agreement with Ghost. We won't be burning for eternity. Hell only lasts 120 years at most. Those who aren't accepted will be annihilated. Factory reset. I see it the same way. My worry is that I don't think most Christians see it that way, because I think we're taught about hell on a very surface level. So hell is where you go when you die if you're bad, simply said. But it's really not. It's whatever word you want to use, the describing word, torment. It's the punishment of sorts, right? It's some kind of consequence for choosing to reject rather than choosing to accept. And I do believe in mainstream Christianity, they teach that that is eternal. If you get outside of the mainstream view, you'll find a lot more intrinsic views of hell, where it is for a time period, the torment, the punishment, and then it's into non-existence. It's a not uncommon belief. I'm glad you brought that up. Your way of thinking is quite right. Dumb cat, keep it up. Is that in reference to him saying it's not comfortable? Where it goes to. Oh, I lost it. So then anyone who doesn't go to heaven just doesn't exist anymore. Kind of the concept spiritually, right? And if you think about it on a different level, everybody's put on earth with a spirit, with the intention, if you believe Christianity, to accept and choose God, then live a certain kind of life, and then move on to the next life. If you choose to reject God, then it's kind of a failure in the computer code. So it's going to be written out. That's the goal. So they go to anybody who doesn't accept again, just Christian ideology. I'm not telling you what I believe. I'm just giving you information. They would believe that, yeah, you'd go to either Sheol first if you buy into that, or directly to hell. But either way, once you get to hell, it's a timed punishment. To say it simply, there's more complicated views, but it's a timed judgment. And then after the judgment, you go into non-existence. Again, I wouldn't say that's mainstream Christian thought, though. So if any of it sounds wild or different, he's 100% right. These are very common beliefs outside of the mainstream. But why does it say that you will be in shame and condemnation for eternity if we reset? And that's where things get confusing, because there is a lot of terminology like that. That's why this is part of why we did that whole 2 hours on hell. And we barely brushed the surface, because we tried to hit a lot of different religions and then obviously go deeper into the Jewish Christian side. But if we were to go just into the Jewish Christian views, you're going to find a lot of differentiation there, because you have verbiage like that, like Jalen said, where you'll be in shame and condemnation. You'll be in whatever this negative attribute is for all of eternity. If you reset, is it all of eternity? If you cease to exist, you're kind of just out of the game. You're out of the game. These are deep things. This is where hell gets rough. Just like almost anything else in the Bible, if you're actually honest with yourself. There are contradictions. Things do reference each other in opposite ways. And then it's a huge puzzle of trying to fit them together without putting your bias in and just seeing what makes the most logical sense. And that's the hardest part, keeping your bias out of it. There are angelic ranks in the kingdom. Understanding scripture on its deepest level isn't required to make it into the kingdom, but it is required to be on the jury and higher ranks. I mean, you got to be educated if you're going to be in the high ranks, right? It just makes sense. That makes sense because I don't understand how we live forever in the future if we haven't lived forever in the past. We would have lived in heaven before we were born on earth, or reincarnation is real. Why would you have to have lived in heaven before you were born on earth? I'm curious about that. I'm with you right up until that. Timelines, man, when you get into timeline stuff, that'll keep you up at night. This is all I think about, guys. This stuff drives me insane in my life. But just think about it like this. And I harp on this all the time because it relates to so many different things. If you cannot conceive something, or if you have not experienced something, you cannot conceive it. So if you had not seen, smelt, touched, heard, if you haven't in one of your senses, if you haven't experienced a thing, the human mind is not capable of conceiving the thing. So we think of things on a timeline. What if once you die, timelines don't exist? Right? What if once you die, everything is different? Which it probably is, right? That's the idea. But it's hard for people, humans, to sit and conceive that because you have never experienced it. You've never had a perception of it. So it's just think like the dimension flips. You're in a different realm. Why would time exist? Why would time be a thing? Like to us, it makes sense because time is just like inherent, it seems. Like time passes, days roll, like hours clock. It's apparent. Why would we assume that that exists in the spiritual realm? Why would time be a thing? That blows my mind. Like I live under the assumption of nothing is the same. Everything will be completely upside down. And you just can't conceive it, man. And that's the part that drives you crazy. Because humans want to conceive things. Salvation only comes, see that a person trying to understand a book. I can't rely on your interpretations of a book for my eternal fate. Deeds appear to matter. I hope that's not to me. You did at Marcia. This is dumb cat. This is exactly why I do this the way that I do this. I don't give you guys my opinion that much. And if I do, I tell you this is my opinion, but this is what somebody else believes. This is what somebody else believes. I have zero interest in getting any of you to believe things that I believe. I have wild beliefs. This is why I'm, said to be very much on the outside of Christianity. I have no mainstream beliefs. It makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. That's why it's important to approach historical documents, one, objectively. I don't care. I don't care. And if something goes against my beliefs, I'm not surprised because I've done years of this and all sorts of stuff has gone against my beliefs. It doesn't make me feel insecure in my faith in any way. But you have to look at opposing sides. So don't take anybody's interpretation of a book as a way of sealing your eternal fate. You need to listen to tons of people's interpretations. And then you need more than anything else, even if you listen to nobody else, you just read it and see where you get. But honestly, in my opinion, the Bible comes second to prayer. Hot take? I don't know. The Bible comes second to prayer. Spend time talking to God. Spend time actually trying to connect with God spiritually. I throw the Bible away. If you can really learn to connect, because you can make a tie, and it's life-changing. If you can do that, then the Bible will start to make more sense as well. Once you have the connection, the Bible will make more sense. And then beyond that, yes, study. Go into the history. Find out what they believe. Learn the words. Like you need to get it. People who read the Bible surface level, I don't understand how they get anything out of it at all. Jesus went to, sorry, I'm like ranting. I'm going to shut up here in a minute, Reed. Remember, it will be in shame and condemnation for eternity. It will be testament as to what behavior gets you annihilated. The hall of shame, if you will. Revelation is all about your deeds. What did you do? It's not just about your belief. Yeah, I'm dumb cat. I'm 100% on board with the deeds matter. I'm not a part of this whole saved by grace, do whatever the hell you want thing. I'm not that guy. So you're in good company. I don't think it's possible to truly experience God and then not have your life change afterward where you behave differently. That is what I call lukewarm or not saved. I don't think it's possible. You can't truly experience God, like the creator of the universe, in any meaningful way and then continue living the same way you were living before. It's not possible. Those people are either, in hot take totally, those people are either fake Christians, surface level, meaning they're not cognitively able to actually understand, which may not be their fault, and that's fine, or they are lukewarm at best. They're lukewarm. You got to have deeds, 100%, because you're either an eternal soul or you're not. So if you start on earth, you have to have an end, because you're either an eternal soul or you're not. I struggle with that because, again, what does that actually look like on the other side? It's a philosophical nightmare. That's the thing about the gospel, though. It's super simplified. Complete trust in Jesus for hope of salvation. I'm not sure where, but I think Paul says your effort is of no consequence. Yes, and then other places, your effort is of some consequence, which is why the Bible is hard to read. You guys need to look into Isaac Newton's estimate that Jesus will return about the year 2060. I will never look at anything like that because the Bible literally tells you you're not going to know. So, I mean, out of interest, maybe, sure. But I'll never put any weight in somebody's prediction. It's not the stock market. You're not going to pick the price, man. You're not going to know when Jesus comes back. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Energy is eternal, so our energy existed since the beginning, but our individual personality didn't. Boom. The way you express things, dude, is phenomenal. Because that's exactly it. The energy is forever. The personality, the who you embody is different. That was so well said, man. If that's true, then why do all believers put in, if you actually had faith, you wouldn't believe? Then that means you have to have more than just trust in Jesus. I think you do. You know that, mister. I think people who are saved by faith and all good and nothing else matters, I think it's a whitewashed new version of Christianity that doesn't go back further than 1990s. Paul was not the only writer. I don't think anybody's saying Paul was the only writer. You shouldn't, I think, we will conduct yourself in certain manners. The jailer asked Peter, what shall I do to be saved? He replied, believe on Jesus and you will be saved. Sure. But can you, I don't disagree, Marshall, but can you believe in Jesus, that this guy is God, and then not have your behavior just as a consequence of the belief change? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. So the faith alone, if true, if authentic, will inherently make the behavioral change come. Because once you have truly understood how small you are and how irrelevant you are in comparison to God, it's humbling in a manner that you just can't artificially make. I don't remember the verse. 2030. Yeah, it was in the late 1900s. It was in the early 2000s. Now it's going to be 2030. I just think it's silly, man. But yeah, that'd be phenomenal. That'd be phenomenal. All right, I'm going to shut up and start reading. And there my eyes saw how they made their instruments for them, iron chains on immeasurable weight. And I asked the angel of peace who was with me, saying, for whom are these chains being prepared? And he said to me, these are being prepared for the host of Azazel, so that they may take them and throw them into the bottom of the pit of hell. And they shall cover their jaws and rough stones, as the Lord of spirits commanded. And Michael and Gabriel and Raphael and Phanuel shall take hold of them on that great day and throw them into the burning furnace on that day. The Lord of spirits may take vengeance on them for their unrighteousness and becoming servants to Satan and for leading astray those who live on the earth. And in those days, punishment will come from the Lord of spirits, and he will open all storehouses of water and above heaven and of the fountains which are under the surface of the earth. There's a reference to the fountains that you get in Genesis. Whoa. Nope. Oh, come on. Oh no, I lost it. There we go. I'll get it. Here we go. Fountains which are under the surface of the earth, and all the waters shall come together, flow into or be joined with the waters of heaven. Above the sky, that which is above heaven is the masculine, and the water which is beneath the earth is feminine. That's something to take a note of. That's going to be something you want to look a little bit deeper into. So something like that, I would personally, I'll take it to other interpretations, right? So what we're reading is Enoch, but it includes an interpretive view, right? So it's written by it's compiled by an author, translated by an author, and then commentary from that author. So what I would do personally with anything that really piques my interest, I'll take note of that. I'll have a list, and then I'll go look at it from different interpreters. I'll see what different people say. Are there any stark contrasts between what the opinions are? If there are, then I'm going to look deeper into that. If they all seem pretty much the same with maybe some slight wording variation, then, maybe just leave it. But if there's stark contrast, or if anybody has anything interesting to say about the masculine and the feminine, then I would personally want to look into that a little bit deeper. Yes. And then it still has the Genesis vibes from the fountain ghost for sure. Goes into, receives, and then you can get into some of the gender roles and things like that, but unnecessary for the time being. But very interesting. So I even if I massively disagree with somebody's interpretation of it, I want the information. You want to know what other people think, even if you don't agree with it. It's very, very important. And they shall destroy all who live on the dry land and those who live under the ends of the earth. Author's note here, the previous verse refers to Noah's flood. And when they have acknowledged the unrighteousness which they have done on the earth, by these they shall perish. And after the head of days repented and said, I have destroyed all who dwell on the earth to no avail. And he swore by his great name, from now on I will not do this to all who dwell on the earth again. And I will set a sign in heaven, and this shall be a covenant of good faith between me and them forever, so long as heaven is above the earth, and this is in accordance with my command. Author's note here, the previous verse refers to what? The rainbow. Have you guys heard about this movement where like Christianity is trying to take the rainbow back? I don't listen to much politics anymore just because I don't have time, but there's this I don't know if it's odd. I mean, maybe it's a good thing, but there's like this movement within Christianity where at least on social media, where they're trying to take the rainbow back, which like I support. It was a Christian symbol for a very long time, a very long time. And it signifies a beautiful covenant with God, right? So just useless information that's kind of interesting is Christians are trying to take the rainbow back. And I assume everybody knows who I'm talking about, that they are taking it back from. But yeah, you know. All right, let me look real quick and see if I missed anything important. I need to get somebody. If anybody wants to volunteer to help out with the moderating portion of this, send me a message on Discord, because it would be nice to have somebody kind of pick out anything that's important, and then whenever I take a break from this, like you copy and paste them all in one thing, because then I'm not wasting your time trying to read through stuff. That would be nice. And Kat would do it, but she's too busy while we stream. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. I mean, the Bible doesn't lack the concept of works matter. You have this both end of the spectrum deal. And for a long time, it was works alone. The Bible didn't change. And then with the movement of a generation of people changed. We began to look at those verses different, and they changed. Then it became grace alone, and works don't matter. The Bible never changed during any of that period. The generational shift in humanity and society, that changed. And so it changed our perception and our interpretation of it. And I guarantee in 50 years, it'll flip back. It'll be all about the works again, and then it'll flip back. This is just what happens. It's happened all throughout history. Don't get me wrong, I think you should be doing works less led by the Spirit, but it's not what gets or keeps your salvation. I disagree for the reasons that I said. But it doesn't really matter. Because you could call it essential, but I mean it's really not, unless all you do are good works and you don't have faith. But like I said, man, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible for somebody to truly experience the spiritual side of reality in a real way, in an authentic way, and not be led by better behavior. I think no matter what, you're good, because if it's an authentic experience, you will have behavioral change. If you have an inauthentic experience, like a fake salvation, where it's in your head, it's not in your spirit, then I think you can continue on the same path you're on. But I don't see how you can have one without the other. I don't understand how it's possible. Under the ends of the earth, under the ends of the flat earth. Oh, not again. That was a really interesting talk, though. The flat earth thing was very interesting. I was loathing it a little bit, to be honest, just because I know it's very controversial. But that was a really good conversation. You guys brought a lot of stuff that went way over my head. As believers, our bad deeds get burned up and our good deeds are rewarded. So you say, that is your interpretation. Like I said, I cannot rely on some dude's understanding of a book. I've heard your take my whole life. Well, take it or leave it, man. That is your choice. Interpret how you wish. Just follow the rules of proper interpretation. Beyond that, it's anybody's guess. That is the truth. Rodriguez, what's going on? I didn't know our rainbow was missing. Oh, you know better than anyone, because I know you know, Rodriguez. I know you are fully in the hook of knowing who stole the rainbow. We need to we need to write a children's book called Who Stole the Rainbow, and keep it pro-social, but have it tell the story of how we had the rainbow, and then a group of people stole the rainbow, and then we had to fight to steal the rainbow back for the good of God. Soldiers serving God. When in doubt, help widows and orphans. That is perfect religion. Is that sarcastic? I mean, like, those are good things. But perfect religion may be a bit of a stretch. Well, I agree that's true too. We can have encounters with God and our desires change. We can still choose those things. It's not that we don't still get tempted to do things. Oh, for sure. For sure. But I think, imagine it like this. After you've experienced God, if you authentically did, like you really did, and you fall back to some of the old behavior, like everybody does, right? But you feel differently about it. Like the things I did before God were way more brutal than anything I do now. But even the smaller things that maybe I'll goof up and do now, I feel very differently about them. Like it hurts my soul that I've backslid in whatever that way is. Not there because it would be able to take any flat earth arguments serious. Mystic, that is not a good way to go about life. You got to be willing to take anything serious. You can still hate it and think it's silly as hell, but you got to take the information, man. You know, I listen to stuff about Christianity that drives me batshit crazy on a daily basis. Excuse my language, but drives me absolutely insane. And I'm going to keep doing it. This is the only way to really learn. You got to know what's crazy to know what's reality. Just an example of deeds that we should be doing with our faith. Interesting. Oh, girl, I know you're just being funny because I damn well you know what's going on. You and me are on the same page. Pure and undefiled religion in the sight of our God and Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself unstained by the world. Yeah, you left out what was arguably the most important part, right? Because that encompasses morality as a whole. So you said orphans and widows. And if I recall right, and I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I think you just put orphans and widows. The key to that verse is, and to keep oneself unstained by the world. Because if you are someone who is unstained by the world, sure, you're gonna cater to orphans and widows, but you're also going to uphold general objective godly morality as a whole. So orphans and widows would just be a part of that. They're not specific ways. You have to think, those were in there because during that time, those were massive problems. Widows had a hell of a life in biblical time. It's not like today, where it's like somebody's just a widow. Back then, it was like a huge social and cultural thing. It was a massive, massive loss for that person. That person's life, their quality of life drastically changed. That's why there was a big focus on that. And orphans, obviously, for kids, just like there is now. My kids make fun of me whenever I say that. It does hurt my soul, man. I don't know how else to say it. Gargar is about to get them. Joe, you're canceled again. God damn it. You haven't been here in weeks, and then you come in and cancel me. It's not cool. All right, Rodriguez, your verse here, and then I'm gonna keep reading. We got to get off at like 7:15 at the latest. This is what the Lord says: be fair-minded and just, do what is right, help those who have been robbed, rescue them from their oppressors. Quit your evil deeds, do not mistreat foreigners, and she will continue. But here we go. Verse 3, when I have desired to take hold of them by the hand of the angels on the day of tribulation, anger, and pain because of this, I will cause my punishment and anger to abide on them, says God, the Lord of spirits. You mighty kings who live on the earth, you shall have to watch my elect ones sit on the throne of glory and judge Azazel and all his associates and all his hosts in the name of the Lord of spirits. And I saw there the host of the angels of punishment going, and they held scourges and chains of iron and bronze. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, saying, to whom are these who hold the scourges going? And he said to me, each one to the ones they have chosen and to their loved ones, that they may be cast into the chasm of the abyss and the valley. And then that valley shall be filled with ones they chose and their loved ones, and the days of their lives shall be at an end. And the days of their leading astray shall no longer be remembered or counted. In those days the angels shall return and gather together and throw themselves to the east of the Parthians and Medes. They shall stir up the kings, so that a spirit of unrest and disturbance will come on them. And they shall drive them from their thrones, that they may rush out like lions from their lairs, as hungry wolves among their flocks. You got an author's note here. The names of certain countries help set the date of the manuscript. Scholars believe, based on the name of the countries mentioned in Enoch, that the book could not have been written prior to 250 BC, since some countries did not exist before that date. One could add that the particular part of Enoch is the only section edited, since the book consists of several disjointed parts. So remembering, this is a compilation. This was not a clean find or a clean collection of texts. They had to compile, they had to puzzle piece a bit and put things together. And they shall go up and trample the lands of my elect, and the land of his elect ones shall be before them a threshing floor, trampled barren ground, and a highway. But the city of my righteous ones shall be a hindrance to their horses, and they shall begin to fight among themselves. And their own right hand shall be strong against themselves, and a man shall not know his brother, nor a son his father, or his mother, until there will be innumerable corpses because of their slaughter, and their punishment shall be not in vain. In those days, hell, Sheol, shall open its jaws, and they shall be swallowed up. Their destruction shall be final. Hell, or Sheol, shall devour the sinners in the presence of the elect. Revelation 20, 1 through 2. And I saw an angel coming down out of heaven, having the keys to the abyss, and holding in his hand a great chain. He seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, who is the devil, or Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of chariots and men riding on them. They were coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. The noise of their chariots was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven watched it. And the pillars of the earth were shaken and moved. Oh, flat earthers, there you go. So remember, from Thursday, flat earth discussion, we learned that the Christian dominant view of flat earth, not all flat earth, just like religion, there's a million different beliefs, but one of the generalized Christian beliefs of flat earth, and again, I do not believe in a flat earth. I also don't believe in a sphere earth. I don't care. I don't know. It doesn't affect me, so I don't really have an opinion. So not from a place of bias. The flat earth theory from a Christian perspective predominantly is that it is a circle still, right? But it is flat, and under it, it's held up with pillars. So this is one of several references. Joe trying to start. I'm not trying to start. Shh. Pillars of the earth were shaken and moved is one of the many references. Jalen put a God, you guys kill me. There were pillars holding it up. That's the idea. So it's basically like a folding table is the way that I think about it. The pillars hold the flat earth up, and that is where this is one of the references that flat earthers get for Christianity. This is where they bring it from. All right. And all shall fall down and worship the Lord of spirits. This is the end of the second parable. And I began to speak the third parable concerning the righteous and elect. Blessed are you, you righteous and elect, for glorious shall be your lot. And the righteous shall be in the light of the sun, and the elect will be in the light of the eternal life. The days of their life shall be unending, and the days of the holy will be without number. And they shall seek the light and find righteousness with the Lord of spirits, peace to the righteous in the name of the eternal Lord. And after this it shall be said to the holy in heaven that they should seek secrets of righteousness. Seek secrets of righteousness. Interesting wording. Whoop. And destiny of faith. Another word you do not see in many revised Christian texts. Destiny. The term destiny. For it has become bright as the sun on earth, and the darkness is passed away. And there shall be a light that never ends, and to a number of days they shall not come. For the darkness shall first have been destroyed, and the light established before the Lord of spirits. And the light of the righteous established forever before the Lord of the spirits. In those days my eyes saw the secrets of the lightning and of the lights, and they judge and execute their judgment. And they have, geez, man. And they illuminate for a blessing or a curse as the Lord of spirits will. And there I saw the secrets of the thunder, and how when it resounded above in heaven, the sound thereof is heard. And he caused me to see the judgments executed on the earth, whether they are for well-being and blessing, or for a curse according to the word of the Lord of spirits. And after that, all the secrets of the lights and lightning were shown to me, and they lightened for blessing and for satisfying. Noah's vision. All right, this is good. This is good stuff right here. How much time do we have? You have been saying everything is electromagnetism. You have. It's almost as if you were highly intelligent or something. Enoch did know what's up, man. He had a real good view on things. Let me see if we can finish this tonight. Oh, do we want to start it? All right, you guys tell me. If we start this, though, we're not going to be able to finish it in one go because it's a longer section. Do you guys want to start it tonight, or do you just want to chat for the next 10 minutes? Or do you want to read through this for the next 10 minutes? You guys tell me. Tell me what you want to do. I think it might be best to wait so we can hit it in one run. Oh, God, wait. Can I turn into half giraffe so I can actually see things? What? Let's wait. That's where I'm leaning. I think it'd be best to wait. Enoch's already hard enough to follow, and I'm sure more so when you're listening and not reading, because it's just the way comprehension works. All right, good. We'll wait then. So where we'll pick up is chapter 60, Noah's vision. It's real good. It's super interesting. So that's exciting. That's a good place to jump in. Did I miss anything? I'll be off in like 5 or 10 minutes, guys. So if you're here for the reading, you can bail at this point. But I'll just go through the chat and whatnot and then be out in a few. I was not there because I would not be able to take any. I already read that. That is why it's important to maintain a relationship and fellowship with Jesus and the Holy Spirit. Every day is hard to continue walking on the narrow path. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the minute this doesn't become, the minute, I'm having a hard time talking tonight. I'm tired. The minute that constant contact with God, like trying to stay connected in some way, somehow at all times, starts to fade, it does become hard. Like it becomes very hard to walk the narrow path, even if just psychologically, because they become habits and then you just slowly slip. It's super tough. I never said it was perfect, just an example of deeds that we should be doing along with our faith. These specific deeds things, I don't get that. Why? Why specific deeds? Generalized morality, right? We have a very clear picture throughout all of Scripture of what true objective morality is. Like God laid it out really simply. If you were to take the 10 Commandments, and I think we talked about this. No, we did. We talked about this when we talked about morality on a Thursday night. That what is morality and where do we derive morality from and how do we recapture morality? But if you think about it, the 10 Commandments alone, if upheld completely, basically weed out any bad deed that could ever happen. In essence, it takes away any bad options. So if all of humanity just got in alignment with the 10 Commandments, just as a baseline, it is essentially an umbrella that covers any bad deed. It takes care of everything. So it's not like specific this and specific that, and I need to do this and then I need to do that. It's like just follow these general guidelines and everything else fits within the general category. So you're pretty safe. My kids make fun of me whenever I say, I already read that. Totally, your desires change your heart and you are deeply convicted. 100%. I don't see how it's possible in any other way. People don't like that last verse. Quit your evil deeds. Do not mistreat foreigners. Oh, geez. People don't like things that are difficult for them to do, right? That's true in almost all cases. Do you think we start to see hybrids as in the day of Noah? That's interesting. Because I think somebody posted something in Discord today about, I can't remember who, but one of you guys posted something in Discord, like a YouTube video that was talking about this alien hybrid, an animal hybrid. I believe it covered both, but I could be wrong. Is that why you brought that up? Because there's a lot of, I'll call them conspiracies, but whatever you want to call them. There are a lot of theories about this hybrid situation. And I've heard a lot that have to do with aliens, and I've heard a lot that have to do with animals. What to think about it, I don't really know. Saw a creepy ad this week, modern mRNA. This changes everything. What else did it say? What was the commercial for? Like what company? I'd like to look it up and see. You may enjoy Blurry Creatures podcast. What is Blurry Creatures podcast? Is that about animal hybrid stuff? Is that conspiracy stuff? It's my understanding that there was an issue with telomeres and other parts of our DNA after the flood needed for mixing species. It isn't so simple. I feel like Answers in Genesis had something on all that. Is that where that was from? Is that where you read it from? I feel like God, it had to be years ago, but I feel like when I was going through something, getting where I land with Genesis, I was in Genesis for like half a year. And I feel like answersingenesis.com had something about the DNA splicing or mixing and the inability for it to happen anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if one day you are in line at 7-Eleven to buy a Slurpee and you have to stand behind a rat man. That would be horrific. Horrific. In the last few years, suddenly gender confusion wore massive effect into eject all people. First gap-free mapping of a human genome felt like a massive coordinated effort to pave the way for hybrids. I agree with all of that, minus the hybrids. And maybe that's true too. I have no idea. But I feel like the past handful of years has just been a massive effort and completely coordinated to do something. To whether it's usher in CBDCs or create some kind of lockdown system for cities like it's happening in Europe, the 15-minute cities, or maybe for a range of things. Maybe one of them is hybrids, dude. I don't know. That's not something. I listen to Alex Jones talk about hybrids a whole lot, but beyond that, I haven't heard a whole lot about it other than the video I watched this morning. But we've genetically modified everything. Like if you guys Google what did a banana look like way back when, years and years and years ago, look at what a banana looks like and then research what it tasted like. Bananas originally were bitter and they were tiny and they were full of seeds. Most people don't know this. Mind blown. Our bananas today are sweet, they're big, and they have no seeds. We've genetically modified everything. And then once you do that, without the original, you can't go back. So I could be wrong, but I don't think it's possible to start creating bananas the way they were way back when. Because we have modified it to hell. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I know we've done it to animals too, but it's not quite as bad, but we've done it to animals massively. Animals they're fatter, they carry more body fat, they're heavier, some of them are slower, and a lot of them have inherent health problems because of the way we've genetically destroyed them. Wild bananas have seeds, sure, but aren't the wild ones now still, they're much bigger and they're sweeter. Farm bananas don't have any seeds. But I'm pretty sure I could be wrong. Like I said, I could totally be wrong. Somebody throw a picture out there if I'm wrong. But that was what my understanding was from something when I was in the fitness game. We did a whole thing on nutrition. I could be wrong, but I think even the wild bananas that have seeds, I think they're still sweet and they're bigger. They're on the bigger side. Every banana is a clone. Everything is a clone, which is what's kind of terrifying about that whole thing, right? Everything is a clone. The DNA similarity has to be close, and mixing a lemon and an orange is way more simple. They're also trying to bring back prehistoric animals, which I'm not totally against. But yeah, could you imagine if velociraptors were a wild animal? We'd be in trouble, man. We'd be in rough shape. You're making hybrid animals confirmed. Y'all go down that rabbit hole long before bed, though. It is terrifying. The little bit that I've seen because of good old beautiful Alex Jones. Blurry Creatures podcast takes every kind of encounter, interview credited individuals, anything from paranormal to creatures to aliens, with a biblical foundation. Enoch is mentioned a lot. What? How have I never heard of that? Cat, save that. Blurry Creatures podcast. Cat, I know you're listening. You need to write that down, please. Write it down. That sounds phenomenal. Ashley, you're lovely. Thank you. I can't believe I've never heard of it. That's like right up my alley. That depends on where they're from. Oh, okay, so maybe I'm just dead wrong about bananas. That always sucks, man. I felt like I knew about the bananas. Jeremiah, I don't appreciate the crushing of what I thought I knew about bananas. Wait, Cat, that means we can be half banana, then because we share similar DNA, 2 bananas. What? Dino chickens. Y'all, when we get the cult going fully, when we have the compound, I want wild bananas, but I want dino chickens. We will be the ones to breed dino chickens. We will sell them, and we will donate all of the money to a cult of your choice. But this is a must. Dino chickens. I was bio major in college, so that's where I learned about a lot of the stuff. That makes sense. They're like fresh chicken eggs. They come in different sizes. Wait, what? Is dino chickens a real thing? Is that what they call chickens now because they're big? I thought she was being facetious. I have Googling to do. Clearly they didn't see Jurassic Park, right? So demanding. Oh, is that because I told Kat to write something down? So sensitive, Shannon. If you heard the way we actually talk to each other, you would be blushing. Some of y'all would be in trouble. On the other hand, I choose to believe that they'll sense my super rad energy and come up to me for snoot boobs. They probably will. You have a little T-Rex around, man. Jeremiah, it's not okay, but I love you. But I love you anyways. Jurassic Park is based on the scientist that's trying to make dino chickens. Wait, was it really? Is that what the movie was actually about? He was trying to make dino chickens and accidentally made all of dinosaur life, like recreated it. We have to import the bananas from Thailand. The big ones, the juicy ones, the sweet ones. Every single episode of that podcast. Yeah, I'm definitely going to listen to that. That sounds absolutely fantastic. It's real. Look it up. Ain't going to happen, though. Wild banana ice cream. That'd be pretty fabulous. Dino chickens. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dino chickens. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Let's add that to the list. Yes. Wild banana ice cream. Done. I've seen Jurassic Park, and as treasurer of said cult, I say no. Shannon, you don't decide. If we want dino chickens, I guarantee I can get all of the guys to vote on dino chickens. So as long as the men outnumber the women, dino chickens there will be. I remember how y'all. Oh yeah, you guys have heard us say some stuff, huh? They came up with the Jurassic Park T-Rex walk from trying to stick to a chicken tail feathers. No way. That's wild. That's hilarious. That's very interesting. What a interesting use of useless knowledge or piece of useless knowledge. That's wild. I think it was in an Asian country. Just because it can be done doesn't mean it should be done. That's exactly right. Man, we'll be headed into very scary territory when they start. I mean, they've been making animal hybrids. Like we pretty much already know. But when that becomes like mainstream, and then if they are ever able to, I'm sorry, let me be more clear. They are making different animal hybrids, like animal with animal. But if we ever get to a place where they are able to make human animal hybrids, which, like, I think Kat mentioned it, there are claims that it's happening. I don't, Pixar, it's not real. I don't know. But if they do, that's a very scary world. Regardless of how you look at it, that's a very scary world. That's like super soldiers. That's like some scary stuff. That changes the entire trajectory of Earth as a whole, like ecosystem wise, food wise, everything. It would change absolutely everything. That's a terrifying thought. You're gonna eat the baby. No, dino chickens will protect the baby. Shanna, they'll protect the baby. And my kid will ride the dino chickens. He will be the shepherd of the dino chickens. People are afraid of seeing dinosaurs again, but what if we actually end up seeing creatures more like the alien xenomorph? Yeah, I'm afraid of that too, because of all this body modification that's going on. If you think about it, we're trying to slowly break down what is a human. What is a person? Well, a person is either a female or a male, right? Well, we've lost that. Now a person is just a human who breathes, but it can be anything. And once technology and the medical sciences get far enough, which, I mean, they're doing it, imagine what they'll start doing to people by request. There are people who request to have their arms cut off because they feel like an amputee. There are people who request to have all their eyelids plucked out. Imagine if that caught trend. Then people would no longer have, I'm sorry, not eyelids, eyelashes. Then you kind of look like an alien. What if people start shaving their eyebrows? Like, all of this is just, we are at the top of a slope, as we have been for many years. We've dropped off the cliff real hard, and now we've come to like another level ground, and we're getting ready to drop off again. Society is effed. People are more confused at this present moment in time than ever in human history. And people are doing the wildest crap right now than they ever in human history. It is a very scary to think about what this world is going to look like 100 years from now. Massive change. With how quickly things are progressing now, massive change. In 5 years, we have more societal change than previous generations had in 50 years. Like, you think about that, man. It's horrifying. Horrifying. They tried to stick to a chicken's tail feathers documentary that they walk based on this. So wild. They won't eat the baby. Weren't you listening? I will make them love me and they will be my soldiers, just like my raccoon friend Shannon. It's true. It's true. No one is telling Joe the dino chicken nuggets are in the frozen food section. No, real ones. I want real ones. Rodriguez, no. No frozen dino chickens. I mean, the real ones once we kill them and eat them to sustain life. But no dino-shaped chicken nuggets. My kid loves those. You know what is mainstream, though? The government confirming aliens. I think we're focused on the wrong hybrids, in my opinion. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about this just the other day. Like, that. Oh, I gotta go. I'm gonna jump off one more minute, but just one note on that. I've been hearing a lot about that. For anybody who doesn't watch the news regularly, the government has fully admitted to aliens. Like they've unclassified, declassified. They've declassified tons of documents about aliens, all these UFO sightings. It's like absolutely blown up the mainstream sphere. But so many people don't watch mainstream anymore that the number of people I talk to have no idea, or the number of references or responses to things about it of people in disbelief. Like, no, they're not. They're not talking about that. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They're like, it's a thing right now that like nobody's talking about, because what did they do? They desensitized us very slowly over decades. Desensitized. Just like who is it? RFK was just denied security by the White House. It's been customary for them to have security after, what is it? It's like 120 days or after they're polling at a certain level. He was just denied security. The dude who has a relative who was assassinated. There's all sorts of weird stuff right now that's going on that just nobody's talking about. It's as if it's not happening. I suggest everybody listens to 5 minutes of 2x speed news from like obviously a source you find trustworthy, but just to know what's going on. South Park did an episode about people becoming animal hybrids. They sure did. Are you talking about Man Bear Pig? Man Bear Pig and Al Gore? We are heading into transhumanism. Yes! I'm glad you said it because I did not want to. That's exactly where we're headed. We're already in the midst of it. I'm in a wheelchair, by the way, when the people who want to cut off body parts is frustrating as hell. Ghost, I'm sure. It drives me insane when I see that. It drives me mad. Because it's like, dude, there are people who went through that, unwillingly, who would kill to not be in the condition they're in. It's such an offensive thing. I completely understand why that would drive you crazy. I had a boyfriend that shaved his eyebrows. He was trying to drop it. We are definitely heading there. Ashley, yeah, I think we're there. I'm in the opinion that we've fallen off the cliff. So now it's just a matter of how far, how fast before we hit some level ground. But how much? Oh, dude, a dino chicken egg, it's got to have like 30 grams of protein per egg. This is a bodybuilder's wet dream. He is asking all the right questions, Kat, 100%. And the government says aliens are real, but won't show is Epstein's guest list. God, I love you. Yes. I had no idea. And yes, the cutting of body parts would piss me off as well, but no doubt more from your viewpoint. Yeah, absolutely, dude. I have so many thoughts on the whole alien shenanigans lately. I'll save for another time. They're priming us to believe certain things about aliens. Yes, they are. They're painting the picture, right? They have been for a very long time. That's the thing. Like, people need to get out of right now. You need to be able to aggregate information over many years. They've been conditioning us to aliens for decades. And it's all leading up to one thing. And the one thing people won't give a flying f about, because they will have been slowly conditioned very intelligently over time. So when it actually comes out, when it actually happens, they're not going to care. They're going to be like, whatever. And that relates to so many different things, just like being spied on, right? Americans in the beginning were totally against being spied on. It was a huge freaking problem. And then slowly, oh, well, you got to have this app and you need to allow it to do this. It's got to track your location. Slowly over time, within 5 years, nobody will care at all if they are being tracked at every moment, all the time, because we were slowly conditioned to be okay with it. Kyle's dad became a dolphin. Oh my God, yeah. Isn't that when Kyle became like a black basketball player too? Was that the same one? They are here and real. Question is, what does the church say it is? Time to have the discussion. Blurry podcast, y'all. Yeah, I assume that we'll talk about aliens one Thursday too. That's kind of the open topic discussion. So I'll throw aliens and UFOs and whatnot on there next week, because this Thursday, remember, we're doing LGBTQ Christianity part 2. And we have the lovely Katie in the Discord group, who is a gay Christian. So she's going to bring more of kind of her perspective, her experience, her thoughts, her views, all that jazz. So that should be pretty good. That'll be interesting. But yeah, I got to go. I got to spend some time with Kat before we both don't see each other for 5 days. So I love you guys. Continue the conversation in Discord. I'll probably pop in there later tonight while her and I are laying in bed. And I love you guys. But yeah, so Thursday is LGBTQ Christianity. I think everybody here is already in Discord, but let me throw the link out there just real quick. If you want to get in, there it is. And yeah, just get ready for Thursday. If you have questions or like concepts regarding LGBTQ or homosexuality within a Christian context, and you specifically want discussed or brought up or researched and then brought, whatever. If you have something, just send it to me in a DM on Discord. I will try to check it before Thursday. And if I can, I'll include it, whether it's a question or a comment or an idea, a theory, whatever. But this will be interesting. The first one was real good. And this one will, I assume, be real good. So I love you guys. Everybody have a great night.